everyone, I hope you just watched a video about a co-pilot and a co-pilot in a helicopter. And in that video, you heard several sentences between the pilot and co-pilot. They all have one thing in common. They all contain noun clauses. We use noun clauses when we are quoting someone or reporting what someone has said. We also use noun clauses to more politely tell someone to do something or to ask a question. But you'll learn more about that in your reading. The first thing we need to do is review what a noun is and where it goes in a sentence. Then we need to do the same thing and review what a clause is and why we use them. So let's take a look at what a noun is. A noun is the person or thing that does an action, or it's a person or a thing that an action is done to. So in this sentence, the mechanic repaired the engine. There are how many nouns? 2. The first is the mechanic. The mechanic is doing the action, so the mechanic is the subject of the sentence. The second noun is the engine. The engine is the receiver of the action, so it's the object of the sentence. We can use nouns as both the subject and the object of the sentence, and we can also use noun clauses as the subject and the object of a sentence. But before we get into that, we need to review what a clause is. A clause contains two things. Do you remember? They contain a subject and a verb. Sometimes it also contains an object or some other kind of information. Every complete sentence is a type of clause because it contains a subject and a verb. However, not every clause is a complete sentence by itself because it might not be a complete idea. Noun clauses are like that. They aren't complete sentences even though they contain a subject and a verb. Let's look at this sentence that you saw in the earlier video. I don't know whether we can take off. In this sentence, our main clause is I don't know. And our noun clause is whether we can take off. Whether we can take off is the object of the verb don't know. Let's break down the whole sentence. The main clause, I don't know, contains a subject and a verb. I is the subject and don't know is the verb. The object of the whole sentence is the noun clause, whether we can take off. Noun clause word order can be a little bit confusing if you're not careful. We are using relative pronouns such as the words who and which, and usually you only see these words in questions. So often students confuse these words in noun clauses with the word order in questions. We have to be careful about that. So let's take a look at the difference. Here's a question, who is he? The word order is he in this question. In this sentence with a noun clause, I don't know who he is. The word order is he is. So you can see that the subject in the question he comes after the verb, but the verb in the noun clause comes before the verb. It's really important that you pay attention to that. You can see this in other kinds of questions. In this question, who did she see? And here is a sentence with a noun clause. We need to know who she saw. In the question, we use the verb did see. Did came before the subject, she, and see came after the subject. In the noun clause, we use statement word order. The subject she came first, and the verb saw came second. In a noun clause, the subject will always come before the verb, so it's important to know who or what the subject is. That was a really brief introduction to noun clauses, but if you want to become really good at them, you need to take a much closer look. Go back to the previous video and listen to the sentences there. Try to identify the noun clauses in each of those sentences. After that, continue reviewing the page. Read the rest of the page and put your new knowledge to good use. Bye.